Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome to episode 25 of Warframe Playing Like a Pro, and in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Soma Prime. Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and as you guys can see, I'm actually very dark in the simulacrum today, and the reason that is because I'm not actually in the simulacrum, I'm actually out of bounds, and the way you do this here is you stand up on that pillar, and you just bullet jump over here, and you're able to jump up on this platform right here, and it makes your character completely dark. Now, I thought I'd give you guys like a little, I guess, tutorial in game development. The reason that this is because there's no actual lights pointing at this area in the map. So if I were to jump back into that general area, because the developers actually have lights pointing at that area, that's why all the color will reappear on my Warframe. So let's just go ahead and jump back over there. You see that once I reach a certain point, it just, kind of reappears. That's because light was then hitting my Warframe, and it was lighting up one of the maps that the developers use to basically apply a certain texture, color, or material to the actual Warframe or the Warframe mesh or whatever the case may be. So yeah, quick lesson in game development right there, but you're here to learn about the Soma Prime. So yeah, let's actually go ahead and test it out. So the Soma Prime is a very fast-firing assault rifle. It's got 200 rounds in its magazine, mainly slash damage, and at first glance it has extremely low stance, especially if you're going for the regular version of the weapon. It's got like, what, 10 damage or something, but the selling point about this weapon is actually its crit multiplier whenever you get all of your mods on. Now, you guys can see, if you take a look in the bottom right hand corner there, I have a 6.6 times multiplier with a 75% critical chance, which you can obviously increase with things like Arcane Avenger, which is an Arcane, which we'll talk about later on in a different video. But basically, this weapon's so good because it shoots very fast, it procs that critical chance a lot, you get that crit multiplier on top of that there, so you get very high DPS in return. So, you throw your elements on, you throw your crit mods on, you throw your damage mods on, and it makes for a very damaging weapon. Obviously, you can amplify your crit damage, your elemental damage, and your regular damage with the likes of something like a beam mod, or bladed rounds, or shred, and we'll talk about the different options in this video, of course. But first off, let's try out the damage versus just a regular Grineer Bombard, right? Because they have the most armor in the game, and they're pretty hard to take down. Hardest enemy in the Grineer faction, which obviously has scaling armor. So I'll just show you guys how fast we actually kill this guy, and this is the build that we're going to be using to do it. And I'll show you the different options in terms of your beam mod right here. So yeah, let's go ahead and take him down, I guess. So radiation, go ahead, spawn in the Bombard, proc our Shatter Shield so we don't die. And then we're just going to shoot him in the head to proc that crit chance like so, and hopefully he will eventually die. So, you don't take a lot of bullets. That was like, what, around 90 odd bullets to kill him right there. Not that bad for like a 200 round magazine, and he died pretty quickly. So it's all about that DPS rather than how many shots does it take to kill in Warframe. And we killed him like almost instantly. I'm not going to say almost instantly, but we killed him pretty fast, right? So that was pretty good. Now, if you were to take away the armor from that enemy, they would die a lot faster. And the way you can take away armor from an enemy is with the use of something like Ash's Seeking Shuriken Augment mod. So let's just go ahead and throw that there on. Obviously, we're going to match our colors because I'm a fashion frame nerd. And yeah, I don't really, play the game without matching my colors because that kind of triggers me for whatever reason. So if we go ahead and strip the armor from this bomber right here, hopefully we don't die. So there's the armor stripped. We can just go ahead and lay into him. He's down to half health already, and we basically dealt, what, 20 bullets? 20 bullets, and that killed him, roughly. So if you were to run a grip of, 4 times cruise projection on your Warframe in the augment slot, or the aura slot, sorry. So that would be this mod right here, and all 4 players in that team have that. You would drop enemies insanely quickly with the Soma Prime, and that pretty much goes for any weapon which has slash damage, crit chance, and all that good stuff. You just drop them pretty fast because they have no armor, they have no scaling armor. So the only thing that's left that really scales is their health, which you can take down really easy with the likes of the element that they're weak to, viral damage, radiation damage, slash damage, all that good stuff. That'll kill them very fast. But going back to enemies which you don't necessarily have to use cruise projection against, so let's say being of the infested, sorry, let's go ahead and spawn in an ancient healer and kill him with the Soma Prime, and we'll see how fast we actually kill him. So ancient healer, go ahead, simulate, and this guy's gonna die pretty damn quickly, even if we're not aiming for the head, you know. He's dead already. There you go. Easy peasy. And, you know, no need for cruise projection, no need to strip armor or anything like that there. And then let's finally go for a corpus. So I actually run radiation in my corpus build, because after you go for that shield, that's all you really have to deal with, but you're still going to drop these guys very fast, especially if you have a mag in your team who can basically just strip the shields off the enemies. You know, it's pretty good. So let me find the corpus tech. There we go. Spawn him in. Hopefully I don't die to this guy, because he does have a pretty damaging gun. So once you strip through that shield, which you already have, you can just kill him with this radiation damage. You can obviously throw on something like just pure toxin damage, and that'll kill him. But even at that, you still kill him pretty quickly, right? You can throw on your magnetic damage to get through that shield, or you can just go pure toxin damage and do it that way. But because I have it set up in a way where I can have 2 dash polarities on, I could do something like so if I were to go and throw on an infected clip, and then the status mob, which is malevolent force. Where is that at? I can't find it. There it is. Here it is. I just throw that there on, and that would be my pure toxin damage on this weapon. And then you do the exact same thing. You won't deal as much damage to the shield, if I'm not mistaken, because it's actually resistant. But you see, you eat through the corpus's shield, even if he does have one, so it'll kill him a lot faster, right? So that's the plus side of using toxin damage versus the corpus. But other than that, that's really all there is to talk about with this weapon in terms of dealing a buttload of damage, I guess. The next thing you want to really be talking about is this final slot that you have right here. So you have a multitude of options whenever it comes to this final slot, which are all sort of in the V polarity. So this should be basically your staple build. You have your Serration, Heavy Caliber, and Split Chamber. You always have to have those on your rifles. Vital Sense, and then Point Strike for your crit, and then you throw on your 2 elements, which will deal the most damage versus whatever enemy it is that you want to be taking down. So in this case, Radiation versus the Bombard, Crucis versus the Heavy Gunner, so on and so forth. So what we would be doing here is actually amplifying that damage further by using a mod such as, let's say, Bladed Rounds, which is a very good mod, especially for a crit-based weapon. So on kill plus 120% crit damage while aiming for 9 seconds. That is pretty good, because that basically just increases your DPS. So you know, you can throw on that there. If you want the highest DPS possible, you would throw on something like Prime Bane of Grineer. Obviously a very expensive mod, very rare mod, because you have to get that off Barokatir, the Void Trader. Or you can throw on something like a Shred, which will basically, you know, make you shoot through enemies, which is very good, at least in my opinion, in something like a Defense in the Void, where enemies are obviously going to funnel through certain directions, so you can just kind of shoot down an alleyway, and then, you know, this will punch through enemies. So I'll give you guys an example of that there right now versus a few Bombards. If we go ahead, and I guess I'll slow them with Nova, so I'm actually going to go ahead and equip Nova before we do that. And what that's going to do is allow us to line up a shot on multiple Bombards, then we can just kill them that way. So let's just go ahead and put that there color on. Though it's not the exact color of orange, but you know, we'll go with it not for now. So let's go ahead and spawn in. I want to say just 2, because I don't want to see a bunch of rockets coming for me. I just want to see 2 rockets and hopefully avoid them. So wait for that M prime to go reach them. There we are. So let's avoid the rockets. That one came for me. Whoopsies. So if we shoot through them, like so, we're going to be dealing damage to both of them, which you can't actually see because I just died. So I guess probably better if I were to use something like Frost, maybe? Yeah, let's go ahead and use Frost, or maybe just use our Xeneric to do it, and then that would be a better idea. Yeah, let's just go ahead and pop Xeneric once I spawn them in again, because I didn't like a derp. But you get what I mean. Like, it's going to shoot through the enemies. You can also shoot through very thin surfaces as well. So like the doors and Void, you can basically spawn kill the enemies in the Void tile set, right? So, you know, let's wait for those rockets to go away or eventually explode. We should be good to go now. So let's go ahead and shoot these guys like so. I don't know if you see the damage numbers coming up from the guy behind, but you can see he's clearly procced by radiation and he's clearly lost damage. So you would be aiming for the head usually, but because we can't necessarily aim for the head, you know, obviously we can't aim for the head. So let's go ahead and reload. Hopefully don't move, and then just shoot them in the head. I know I'm shooting his shoulder, but you know, still sort of stands. So you just shoot them, mow them down this way. And they're obviously going to be fighting each other because of that status proc from the radiation. That's why they're shooting at one another there instead of just shooting at me. Let's just go ahead, pop him off the map. There we go. And then he's going to kill us in return. But yeah, that's using shred on it. I like using this mod versus the nullifiers because obviously those bubbles don't exist whenever you're using shred. So I don't know if I actually have a nullifier. Do I have a nullifier? Step in NUL. I do have a nullifier. So if we go ahead and spawn one of these in, get rid of these, and then wait for the nullifier bubble to expand, and then I'll show you how fast the nullifier's bubble goes down once you pull the trigger, of course. So, and it's basically gone now, right? So that's how fast the nullifier survives when you have shred on. Obviously, you can long range it like that there. So you're going to be using things which will amplify your damage even further, like Nova's M Prime or Banshee Sonar or whatever the case may be, to sort of up your damage a little bit more. But this is the Soma Prime, and this is how powerful it is, and a lot of people use this weapon a lot more now, because a lot more people are sort of getting the necessary mods to use the weapon, where it used to be, like, way back in the day, and barely anyone would use the Soma, because it was a rare occurrence to see people with, like, fully kitted out modding sections, right? People were really scared of the game, and they didn't know how to do things, but I guess it's got a little bit easier. I wouldn't say easier, but it's just a little easier to understand now, and you get the mods a lot quicker now than you used to, because it used to be these elemental mods would be pretty hard to get. Vital Sense and Point Strike would be pretty hard to, well, not Point Strike, but Vital Sense would be pretty hard to get. Same with Split Chamber, and no one ever really used beam mods before, because the regular beam mods aren't really worth it. You can only really use the prime variant. That's why I'm recommending bladed rounds if you don't have the primed beam mods on, or shred if you want to go for that there as well. Shred also used to be a pretty rare mod, but obviously everybody has these mods now, so they're not necessarily scarce, is what I'm trying to say here. That really bad news reporter guy. But yeah, so mods that I don't recommend going on this weapon. I don't recommend using Argon Scope, even though you can, for the simple fact that this is more for sustained DPS, but you have to be getting a headshot to sort of proc it, which is much why I rather would have the bladed rounds, because it increases your burst DPS, and you don't have to necessarily be getting a headshot. You just have to kill the enemy and then aim, which is pretty good. So just compare the two and use common sense. But there is a mod which I don't dare speak about on this channel, and it's called Hammer Shot. It's a bad mod because it gives you, it's that bad I don't even know what it does off the top of my head, but it gives you status chance and I think crit damage, or status chance and crit chance, whatever the case may be. It's a bad mod, and beam mods are better. So yeah, so is bladed rounds and everything else that I recommended in this video. Don't use Hammer Shot, it's bad. You're never going to get a weapon that basically excels in both status and crit, unless it's something like the Astiletto primes. You don't usually go for crit and status unless it's they have a perfect balance, almost perfect balance, to be, or basically to allow you to go for both, which is very few and far between, at least in this game anyway. So yeah, don't use Hammer Shot, it's a bad mod. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button below, and we'll see more Warframe videos from me. Hit subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.